Well, howdy there, folks. It's actually turning into a little bit of a rainy afternoon. It's kind of nice. And it's been a busy month, so well, I'm here with old Nickel, and he's had most of the month off, just been working weekends mainly. So he's lost a little bit of muscle tone. We're kind of moving our way into fall, so I think it might be a good time to bring him back into shape and start schooling some circles with him. And so I figured, let's pull out the camera and let's work on some circles together. Now this is a different circling exercise than what we'll call the natural circle, but this is a good circling exercise for older horses that kind of have the 14 fundamentals filled out already. This would be a good way of warming your horse up, getting them keyed into your body, and then progressing and adding a bit more. For cow horses especially, the circle is a super important maneuver. It's crucial it's one of the most crucial elements of a reining pattern. Really the key to a circle is making it as perfectly round as possible. Because what a circle is it's a shape without any corners. It's one continuous turn for the horse. Every single stride is the same as it was as the last one. So that's what's the really beneficial thing for the horse, is they're able to relax and fall into this shape, and it allows their body to, and you're able to just sit there and let them work once they find the curve and the circle to stay on. And it allows the horse, because a horse's biggest fear in the world is falling down. I mean, half their height, the bottom half of their height, are these little stilts that they have to balance all their weight on. So the circle allows them to have a consistent weight balance. You're not turning more or turning less or going straight or making a corner. It's just one continuous circle, and that allows the horse to relax and enjoy the work. So I just got on Nickel. He hasn't been warmed up or anything, so let's just try and see if we can make our way into a left circle here. The first thing I'm going to do is I'll make sure that my outside leg, my right leg, has slid back just a little bit towards where the back cinch would be. Then I'll make sure my inside leg is slid forward. Inside leg on the girth, outside leg behind. It's the same way you pick up the canter, the correct lead for the canter. And you see already, and you see I'm riding in a little bit more bit than you've seen in the previous videos. Everything else I've been riding in a snaffle bit. And today, because Nickel's a little further along, he's an older horse and he's pretty well got this stuff down, we can add an extra refinement tool here to get a little bit more get a little bit more effort using a lot less input. That's the whole key with these bigger bits. Are for pulling less, they're not for pulling more. So you see already Nick is starting to make a bit of a circle here as we walk around, and I'm just letting him walk for a minute to get his joints organized and make sure he's feeling good. And you see how his cadence is getting a little bit better, and he's not quite zigzagging so much. This circle is getting pretty consistent and pretty round, but it's still, he's a little bit closer here, and he comes a little bit closer to the rail on this side, doesn't want to go quite so close to the rail on the other side. These are just things to pay attention to as you're getting warmed up, especially at the walk. Pay attention to see how he's wanting to turn a lot sooner. Here we'll ride him kind of all the way out to maybe this post, and that will be our point to touch the rail and then come off. And then we kind of ride out to this side, and there's maybe this point here. And so if you think about a circle, and then if you, in your mind's eye, draw a square around that circle, because we're in a rectangular pen, but a square is easier. If you think of the square that just touches that circle in 4 points, has 4 tangent lines. See how he made this turn a lot tighter? We'll get to that in a minute. Think of that square around the circle with 4 tangent lines, that's how we want to design our circle, so that we can come around and touch the one point on each side. So we come along here and we touch this point on the rail, and then our horse turns. And we come along and there's another invisible rail line right here that we touch and come off it. And then we're riding straight for this fence out here. And when we get all the way there, we kind of touch and can come off it. And finally, you see now we got a little deeper since we rode all the way out to that rail by the road. Touch and come around. And you see, actually, as we make this circle rounder, and I'll let Nick come a little further off of this rail because this is a weird shaped arena. As we make this circle rounder, you're going to see Nick's posture get lower and more extended, and he'll get a little bit more exuberant about everything. So let's go for a reverse. I'll just look to the inside, slide my outside leg back, and your horse should change directions. Not too much effort with your hands. You know, that way they kind of balance in between each of your reins. And we'll let him make a little smaller circle here, just so that he can stay in a little tighter, consistent turn. There we go. And you see how now that he's on his kind of natural turn, his neck is just every step is going a little lower, a little more stretched out. And then he made a little tight of a turn there, so we'll go inside leg, push him back out, outside leg, say back on this circle. Okay, so those are the general basics if we're doing this thing at a walk. You want to shape your body up, inside leg on the girth, outside leg behind. You can almost lead with your inside shoulder and your inside hip a little bit, kind of like a boxer would. If I make a turn real tight, I could kind of lead with my inside here. And then if I wanted to change, I could change and lead with the new inside, and my horse would change directions with me. That's kind of that fine tuning of the steering helps you with your circle exercise here, but it's also developed a bit by your circle exercise. So let's pick up the trot and help him find this shape a little bit more to relax into. When I picked up the trot there, he kind of stuck his neck up in the air and got a little bit short, you know, started dragging himself along with his front end. So just to start with, I like to hold the reins in my outside hand. If I'm going left, that means my right hand. And we'll start looking for our 4 tangent points again, riding to each one. Right there, he was kind of looking to the outside, so we reach in and tip his nose back. Then he turned a little too much so that we catch him with our inside leg. There we go. And in the trot, it's a lot easier to play with the size of this circle and play with your turn. So right there, you know, ride all the way out to the rail, then come around. Good boy. We'll take him on down this rail here, go to a new spot and try and build that circle in again. So if I wanted him to go straight, I just straighten my body out. Then when I want to come back to my turn, I'll change my gaze and look around my circle. See how his head's just a little bit high there? And now he's speeding up a little bit. So what I could do is split into 2 reins for a second and look for a little shape. Yep. And then toss him back to one hand again. Then spread, pick up 2 hands. I'll drive a little with my seat and my legs and look for him to drop and relax over there, and then toss those reins back to him. And then we look for that circle to get nice and round. Touch this point, look for our next. Right there, he loses us a little. Good. Touch this point, look for the next. There it is. Then we could bridle him up a little and ride him straight for a moment. Good. Look for that nice drop. And then maybe here we'll start our circle. See if he can find it. Kind of in the middle. All right, straight out up to our, curve out to our rail. There we go. Curve back around on in. One of my old trainers used to say that the circle, right there, he sped up a little, so we'll take up some contact, look for him to relax back down, and keep riding our round circle. One of my old trainers used to say that a curve or a circle is you're actually riding your horse straight, but it's just around a curve. So if you sit straight on your horse, but you just look around that curve, well, your body naturally shapes up to put your horse in the right position, to put you in the right position, and to notice when your position changes. There we go, touch. And the idea is, the more you practice this circle, the less you actually have to manage it. The more your horse is kind of keyed in and goes, okay, boss, I know what you're looking for. You want a nice round circle, right? Well, I'll do that as long as you keep both legs and both hands off me. Just sit right in the middle. So as long as he's riding around this circle, I have no legs on, I have no hands on. He just kind of goes around. If right here, for instance, he felt almost like he was going to, he came a little too far in. So we'll push that shoulder back out and then toss him back the reins. Good. Let's ride in, touch that inside rein. You see how he drops his neck down because he's started to relax into this circle? Here, let's try that reverse a couple times. I'll touch my inside rein, and my horse should get round and come around. Same idea over here. Touch this inside rein, and my horse gets round and comes around. Very nice. Look back around your circle and set him up on the track. And then you go still. It's just like if you were teaching your horse to spin, or if you're teaching your horse to back up, or if you're teaching them to stop. The way you release when they do the right thing. So as he's making the circle, I release. Anytime he comes out of the circle, that's when I make the correction. Now this is obviously after we've done the natural circle exercise, so he already wants to go around, but now we're just fine-tuning. We're able to, once he wants to go around, then we can focus on, okay, well, did they come too tight here, or did he go too far there? And he gets really keyed into your body language, and then not only can you go on this circle, but since this circle is such a like a safe place to be, then any change in your weight really means something. Like if I look over here, but keep that energy going, he should just come right back towards you. Or if I look over here, then he should really make that turn pretty tightly, you know? But if I just ease myself into my neutral shape, there we go, and look on around my circle, then he should ease himself back into that round circular shape. For a lot of people, this exercise might be quite a ways down the road, just because you're asking them to take a lot of responsibility for themselves and travel with basically no touching on the reins, except for picking up to correct and then tossing back, kind of a thing, and then really leaving them alone when they're on the circle. So, but I just wanted to get out and show you something a little bit more advanced than, you know, something like if I wanted to warm up a horse that had already done the or completed all 14 fundamentals, this might be something that I might do. And Nick's already way warm, so this would also be a good kind of a good strength building exercise. If they can really carry you around this circle for, you know, however long we've been going now, then they can take you across a pasture or go gathering cattle all day. There we go. Keep looking around the circle. Good boy, Nick. You can give him a little rub if he's doing the right thing. And then once you get into the middle, you can ask for a little stop. Then check that back up. And we got that done on slack. How about that? So that's all body language. And I guess this is really kind of a game of the invisible aids plus the circling exercise. So I hope you learned something from that. And I hope you found that valuable. Shoot, let me see what time it is.